Sometimes making a change feels as impossible as trying to finish a marathon after you've snorted an entire bottle of Miralax.
That fettuccine was sitting in my stomach like a rock.
You wonder, how did my life become so dull? Like as a teenager, I was hoping that I'd change the world, and now I'm just hoping that my world doesn't change because I've become comfortable doing the exact same thing every day. But maybe you've had an awakening and you think, I don't want to be comfortable anymore. Like I want to make a change, damn it. So here's some ideas. 1, start by finding meaning where you're at. And the vast majority of where you're at is likely, like where you spend most of your time is probably your work, your job. So start there. When I used to work in chicken houses, it wasn't quite the sexiest work, you know? So I would make myself feel better by thinking, okay, I'm helping these chicken houses operate, and I eat chicken, I like chicken, so do a lot of people, so I'm being practically useful to the community, and that's meaningful to an extent. And it really helped me not just survive the day of wading through literal chicken shit, but actually surprisingly enjoying it, getting to be a part of a bigger picture and be out in the country and work with my hands. It was actually kind of nice when viewed through a lens of potentially naive but blissful ignorance, which, fun fact, when I met my wife, I had just gotten off work and I was literally caked from head to toe in chicken excrement, and I had this big, nasty, scraggly beard that looked like a decomposing rodent hanging from my chin, but somehow it still worked out. I digress. But taking this approach where I try to have the most generous outlook at each step in my journey was really helpful, because to achieve the life you want to live, it's probably going to take some time. So if you can start by making each step a bit more enjoyable, it'll put you in a better mood, make you more efficient, and give you more drive to accomplish your long-term goals. Whatever your job is, just try to look at it in context of what service it actually provides to your town or city, or how you personally use or benefit from that service. And you might think, well, if I want to make a change, couldn't it be dangerous to enjoy what I'm currently doing more? Because wouldn't that put me at risk of just compromising and staying where I've always been? And I say no. I think your negativity is actually keeping you in the loop you're in, not positivity that may or may not be overly optimistic. But the sooner you start looking for a good reason that can be the driving force behind what it is that you're doing, the sooner you'll actually get to your next step. Which, by the way, I'm Andrew. This is my co-host, Oakley, and we're currently accepting donations in the form of subscribes or chew toys. 2. The next best thing you can do is believe that you can actually live the life you truly want to live. And yes, I almost vomited in my mouth just saying that because it sounds so cliche and cheesy.
I'm fine, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
But I think so few people actually end up intentionally living the life they want to live. This is something I've been realizing and acting on more and more over the past several years. Just to give an example, I do photo video work mostly for weddings, and I used to spend an unreasonable amount of time on my computer editing pictures and videos, and even though I really enjoyed it and found a lot of meaning in it, just the sheer amount was a bit mind-numbing. But then I thought, well, wait, where in the rule book does it say I can't just cut a third of my annual salary and pay a good editor so that I can spend less of my life behind a screen? We often get so stuck doing things the way that we've been doing them for years that we don't even stop to reconsider if there's maybe a way that would work better for us personally. Or another great example is I have a friend that I got coffee with maybe 4 years after he finished college, and he said, I finally slowed down my life for literally 1 minute, and all of a sudden I realized that I don't like my job. I don't even like the subject I got a degree in. I just stayed on this conveyor belt from high school to college to career to marriage and never really, had time to even think about what I actually wanted. So he saved up some money, quit his job, and just did some traveling and reassessing for 6 months. No one's stopping you. There's no law that says that you can't. And you're probably not as bound by finances or whatever limiting factor as much as you think you are. Everything is give and take. The more I go through life, the more I realize that time is the most valuable currency to me personally. And I'm more and more willing to take a pay cut so that I can spend more time with my kids, spend more time with my family, spend more time on my hobbies, even YouTube stuff like this. And it might take downsizing to a smaller house or even moving to a more affordable area, but you can always cut one thing to make room for another thing. And I can't promise you that it'll turn out this way for you, but the mental clarity I've had from not working on the same monotonous thing day after day on my computer has led me to actually doing my job better and having better client service, which means I've been getting paid more, to where I've made up the money I spent paying someone to do more of my computer work. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's one of those things where you gotta spend money to make money. But one of the best places to start with living the life you actually want to live is just writing out a few things. Taking an evening to just write out what it is that you'd like to be different in a year's time. And legit, if you want to share what you'd like to change in the comments below, I would seriously love to see those, and I'd read every one. I'm really into that kind of thing. And also, if you're gonna write out your goals, there's a super cool journal with prompts that helps you walk through that, and I can put the link to that below. 3. You definitely want to take some times with step 1 and 2, but once you've got a positive outlook and have an articulate vision of where you want to be, step 3 is to do something radical. Tell your boss, hey, this isn't working out for me. I'm giving you a 4 weeks notice so I can reassess some things. If there's a way to come back after some time, that'd be great, but if not, I understand. Or tell your spouse or partner, like, hey, our relationship kind of sucks right now. Let's take a Friday and Monday off and do a 4-day weekend, drive out to the mountains or fly to the beach, order some $20 relationship book or online course, and go through questions in it together. Or maybe you like your job, but you just don't know anyone there and feel alone 8 hours a day, even though you're surrounded by dozens of people. You could say, hey, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and invite someone over from work for dinner once a week, or even once a month. Like, having someone over for dinner once a month might be a radical step for you, and that's fine if it is. Everyone's different. Just doing something that's radical to you personally can really help shock your system into a snowball effect of making changes, and doing one big thing sometimes is easier than doing 10 small things. It's like jumping into a cold pool. Sometimes it's better to just dive in head first instead of slowly easing in, because there's always that point where the top of the water makes contact with your, and that's just the worst. Just jump in. 4. And number 4 is double-sided, and I'm going to sound like a madman, but first, stop watching TV, just for a couple of months at least. And 2, replace that time by finding something you love and doing that thing with other people. Maybe you join a book club, maybe you start taking bachata dance lessons, or my brother does Dungeons and Dragons regularly with friends. Because cutting your TV usage won't just give you more time, but more mental space, because we all know what it's like to have all these hopes and dreams and ambitions and be sitting at our job thinking, man, when I get home, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start that project. But then we get home and we just doze off on the couch while binge watching Call the Midwife. And yes, that is probably my favorite show. No shame. It is fantastic. But let's say you watch an hour of TV a day. Even if you just cut that in half, that's 3.5 hours a week that you've saved, which adds up to like 180 something hours a year, which is like more than 4 full work weeks that you could spend doing something meaningful with people that are meaningful to you. We actually treat our TV like a gun, where we keep it in a closet and only pull it out when we need to use it, because it's not safe to just have sitting around, especially for children. Believe me, I waste plenty of time on YouTube and on my phone, but not having that added time sucker of TV is a real game changer, even if you just commit to cutting it for like 3 months just to see what happens. And maybe even do an Uno reverse on the rule and join a movie club where you're kind of watching TV, but you're at least doing it intentionally with people, and those people want to watch together and talk about it afterwards, that kind of thing. So please subscribe so that Oakley can afford to pay off his gambling debt. He would really appreciate it. Here's a slideshow of him as a reward for making it to the end of the video.